Half a day, my name is Catherine Nadeau, and this is my critique of a phonics video for ED584. The video that I will be discussing is called Phonics Song, Letter Sounds by Gracie's Corner, and this is a YouTube video. So it is a song where the speaker goes through the alphabet and names every letter and sound that it makes. And it says here in the title that the song is intended for kids, however, it doesn't specify what age range. But I would think that it's for maybe first grade students and below, just because I've had experience with both first grade and second grade kids. And while this is something that I would show to my first graders, I don't think that I would play it for my second grade students. Its purpose, of course, is to help children with their phonemic awareness. And the reason why I chose it is because of all the phonics songs or phonics videos that I found. This is the one that I would most likely use in my own classroom, which is what brings me to the video strengths and appropriateness for students. So I believe it to be very suitable for a younger audience as you can see here, it's 5 minutes long, so it's not very long in length. So I don't think kids would lose focus very quickly as opposed to some of the other phonics videos I found, which are a little bit longer. And I think for videos like this, the shorter it is, the better, just because students won't lose focus or they won't get bored of it. And it is also a very catchy song. You'll see as I play a little bit of it. And I feel like because of that, it's something that's easier for students to remember as opposed to some of the other phonics songs I found, which were a little more boring. I don't think that would captivate the students' attention for very long. And because it's a very entertaining song, I feel like it'd be easier for students to memorize or at least keep their attention for 5 minutes. So let me play a clip of the video.
Together now we're reading words. A said
Okay, so you see here, they say a letter, they make the sound, and they show an item that starts with that letter, which I think is really good for building student vocabulary skills as it introduces words to them that may otherwise be foreign. Additionally, those students may not be aware of it. They are practicing their phonemes, and they're indirectly learning about sounds like bilabials, labiodentals, and other terms like that. And they may not know the exact technical terms that we can see in chapter 3 of the text by Yule, but they are learning what these sounds are. They're getting exposure to it. However, even though the video is really excellent, I do think it's a really good source for students. If I did have to name a weakness, I would say that the video doesn't address the fact that many letters can be pronounced in many different ways. And let me show an example of this.
C says cat.
Okay, so like this, the C in cat is not the same, does not make the same sound as the C we would hear in a word like cycle, just like the A in apple doesn't sound the same as the A we would hear in a word like aim. And this is what makes things like homophones difficult to understand for our students, especially our English language learners. And because of this, I do think it's beneficial to teach students sounds using something like a phoneme chart, as opposed to like showing them alphabet letters and having them match a sound to it. Regardless, though, I do think that this is a really helpful video for introducing the alphabet to students and having them become more familiar with it. Another thing I think would have made the video a little better is if they showed an actual person moving their lips to the sounds, as opposed, you can't really see this cartoon character moving her lips very clearly. Chapter 1 of Yule discusses how using the parts of the mouth, such as the lips and the teeth, are important when making language. And I feel that this is something that's very good for students to learn. In my own classroom, I have students actually look at my mouth when I introduce the sound. I tell them, look at how my lips are moving, look at where I put my teeth, so that my students know how to physically form their mouth when they produce sounds. Still, despite all this, I do think it's a really good video. And as for how it's relevant to students on Guam, I want to go back to the fact that the video does introduce different vocabulary words. So let me find another example.
The dog. He says
Okay, so words like elephant, and they also introduce things like owl and monkey. These are vocabulary words that students may not typically learn outside of the classroom. With a lot of our younger students, they don't know what things like igloos are, what zebras are, other stuff that are mentioned in the video. They don't know these things because they aren't things that are found locally. And for our ESL students, they may know what these things are, but they don't know what the English word is for it. So I feel like this is what makes the video very beneficial to our local students is that it's introducing new words to them. I've given the Ames Web assessment in the past, And when it comes to the vocabulary portion of the test, there are words that are unfamiliar to our kids because they're not things that are relevant in our area. They don't know what these pictures are. They've never heard of these things before. So I feel like introducing them to these words can be especially helpful. You know, it's giving them exposure to these new words and introducing new animals and new things to them. And yes, this was my phonics song critique. I thought it was a very good video. And hold on, let me oops. Okay, and these are my references. This is the Gracie's Corner video found on YouTube, and this is the old text that I reference, The Study of Language, 4th edition. And that is all for my critique. Thank you so much for watching.